Okay, hey guys, welcome to Shen Blackford Academy. This is the first video that you guys are going to get in this kind of stats unit. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to end up answering all of the questions on this, A, B, C, and D. So for A, we're going to go ahead and give you a question for it. So the question is this, or this is the data we're given. I went around and asked 15 people how much sleep they get in a night. These are the responses I got: 5, 7, 6, 5.5, 8, 9.5, 3, 0, 7, 6, 7.5, 8, 7, 6.5, 7. Okay, and I accidentally put an extra comma there. So ultimately, that's my poll, is how much sleep someone gets in a night. So I want to see what that distribution would look like. So let's go ahead and see what that would look like. The first thing I would want to do is to make bins for my histogram. And what a bin is for a histogram is it is essentially like what categories you are. So I like to think of it as like little trash cans, and you take each data and you throw it in there because it fits in there. So looking at this one, it looks like our biggest is just right under 10 and our smallest is 0. So let's see. I think I would probably do something like 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, and 9 to 10. I should probably zoom this in because I remember it gets hard to see. Okay, so there are my bins. And now I want to put in the frequency here. So I'm going to take a look at this and continue to compare. So let's see how I can do this. Squeeze this over. Good. Okay, so the frequency of 0 to 1. I see one person has 0. Okay, and 0 is right on the fence of 0, so that falls in here. I have one of those. From 1 to 2, how many people are from 1 to 2 hours of sleep? Nobody. From 2 to 3. Now here's the key part. If you get a 3 here, this 3 can either go into this bin, 2 to 3, or 3 to 4. The rule of thumb is if it falls on the border, like this one, right, 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, you always pick the bigger one. So you always go to the right, is how I'd say it. Is that you're picking the one to the right. And I'll show you why that's to the right when I actually put it there. So there's 0 for 3, from 2 to 3, but there is 1 from 3 to 4. Right? Okay, 4 to 5. 4 to 5, I don't see. I see a couple 5s, right? I see a 5 right here. Okay, I see a 5. But again, 5 doesn't fall into this category, it falls into 5 to 6. 6 to 7. Let's see, I got 1, 2, I have 2 6s, and then remember all these 7s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 of them fall into 7. And I realize I missed one for 5 to 6. 5 to 6, there's also 5 and 5.5. So 5 to 6 should be 2. Okay, and then for 6.5, I totally missed that one as well. That one falls in here, so that should be 3. 7 to 8, I see that there's 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I see a 7.5, so it should be 5. Okay, and then now I'm going to check from 8 to 9. 8 to 9 should be, there's an 8, yep, so that falls in there. There's another 8, and I guess I don't see anything else here, so that's 2. And from 9 to 10 I see this guy, 9.5. Do I see any 9s? No, just 1. Okay, so I'm going to count out the frequency, make sure I asked 15 people, I should get 15 frequencies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 12, 14, 15. So good. I have 15 people I pulled, and the number of frequency I had is 15, as in everybody got placed somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to finish this first. And to calculate relative frequency is like this. I say frequency divided by total frequency. Okay, frequency frequency divided by total frequency. So what I can do is I can pull up a calculator and calculate all these values. For the first one, from 0 to 1, I have a frequency of 1 over 15. 15 is my total frequency, as in total number of people. And that should give me a percentage. Let's look at what that is. 1 divided by 15. That's 0.066666. Well, that as a percentage is, well, let's put 0.066 first. And it keeps going. That as a percentage is 6.7%. Okay, so I'm going to write this as 6.7%. Okay, for this one, 0, well, that's 0%. 0, that's also 0%. For the ones that are 1, that's also 6.7%. Now let's see what 2 would be. 2 is going to look like this. And if you guys kind of understand percentages, you can make a guess. If 1 is 6.7%, 2 would be double 6.7%. So let's see. 2 divided by 15 gives me 13.3. So 2 divided by 15 equals 15.3. Okay, so that should be 15.3%. And then I keep going with this. So now I'm going to try 3 divided by 15. And that gives me 20%. For 5 divided by 15. 5 divided by 15. I get 33.3%. And for 2 divided by 15, we already did that, it's 15.3%. And then for 1, it should be 6.7. 6.7%. Okay. From here, if you calculate all of the relative frequency, you should be able to get something close to 100%. And if it's not 100%, then it's because there's a little bit of rounding error from us, but it should be close to like 99 point something. But essentially, if you added it all up, it should be 100%. Okay, so that's what you want to do for A, to get frequency and relative frequency. For B, what I want you guys to do is do a histogram, a relative frequency histogram, and lastly a dot plot. Okay, so let's do all of those. Okay, so let me pull this back over and erase some of these things. Alright, so I'll start off with the histogram. So for B, let's go with the histogram. Alright, for the histogram, and we can keep pulling this back up. The histogram, we said we're going to put a bunch of categories in here. So I'm going to take up some room here. From 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I guess you could put 11 over here and stuff, but there's nobody out there. Okay, so let's look back at this thing. 0 to 1, we have one person, so let's make a frequency, FREQ for frequency, this shorthand. Right here is hours of sleep. And from 0 to 1, we said we had a frequency of 1, so there's that. From 1 to 2 there's nothing, 2 to 3 nothing, 3 to 4 there's 1. Okay, and I'll make more frequency, 2, 3, 4, and up here we'll say 5. Okay, let's see, 4 to 5, 4 to 5 has 0, 5 to 6 has 2. 5 to 6 has 2, 6 to 7 has 3, 7 to 8 has 5, 8 to 9 has 2, 8 to 9 has 2, and then 9 to 10 has 1. Okay, so we've made a histogram here, and the interesting part is the histogram and relative frequency histogram really aren't too different at all. So for our histogram, it should look something like this. This is what you should have. We can describe the shape, and we can even describe some of the gaps. The first thing is there's gaps, right, from there to there. There's also a gap here. That's one thing you could say about the shape. What shape is this if I were to put a blanket over it? Or what kind of curve would it be? It would be a skew left. Skew left. Okay, it's a skew left. If we were to talk about percentiles, it's easier to say things about percentiles when it's in relative frequency. Okay, so let's try making relative frequency. The nice thing about relative frequency is frequency and relative frequency, so long as you keep it like this, the only thing you're going to change is change it from frequency to relative frequency. Well, if it's relative frequency, if I change this to a percentage instead of 1, what was the percentage if it was 1? 6.7%. What was the percentage if it was 2? Percentage if it was 2 was 15.3%. So I changed this to 15.3. And the next one, if it's 3, would be 20%. So 20%. Sorry, it's hard to see. It's getting tight to draw in here. Okay, and on and on. So you'd take 20%. The next one would be something like 26.7%, and for the fifth one, I think it would be something like 32.4%. So really, in the relative frequency, all you have to do is recognize like what you're going to change the percentage to, and this could change a little bit up or down based on how you're like applying it. As far as if you made this 10% here, well then all the 6.7s would be down here, etc. Right? But if you're kind of like clever about it, you know that already that 6.7% is all the ones for 1. So you put it here, put it here, put it there, and you know for 2 it's going to be 15.3%. The jump from 6.7 to 15.3% really is just 6.7 times 2. It gives you something like 13, 12, just about twice. Okay. Okay, so it's not like a big gap or anything from one to the other. Okay, so let's see, what else can we do here? The last thing we want to do is a dot plot. So let me pause this video. Alright, real quickly, I realized I made a mistake. It should be 13.3%, not 15.4. I don't know where that came from. One more thing I want to talk about is from here to here. We can talk about percentages too. If I'm talking from here, as in people that get less than 7 hours of sleep, you can say add 20% plus 13.3% plus 6.7 plus 6.7, and that gives you a percentile. And then let me show you the dot plot. Alright, this last thing before we run out of time. So if you need to pause this, go ahead and pause this. This is the dot plot. So essentially every frequency is represented by a dot instead. Right? And that would be A, B, C, and D. This would be C was relative frequency, D is dot plot.